aggression towards NATO countries in the Baltic region, Mr. Trump suggested the U.S. might abandon the long-standing protections offered by the U.S. to such nations. The divisive Republican candidate also said that, if elected, he would not pressure U.S. allies over crackdowns on political opposition and civil liberties, arguing that the U.S. had to fix our own mess before lecturing other nations. He said, "Look at what is happening in our country. How are we going to lecture when people are shooting policemen in cold blood?" Asked about the failed coup in Turkey on Friday, the Republican candidate praised Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, who has been criticized by some Western leaders over his increasingly authoritarian rule. "I give great credit to him for being able to turn that around," Mr. Trump said of the failed coup. "Some people say that it was staged, you know that," he said. "I don't think so." U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry has urged Mr. Erdogan to follow the rule of law, amid a crackdown on opposition figures by the Turkish leader in the wake of the coup attempt. But Mr. Trump chose not to make a similar statement. "When the world sees how bad the United States is and we start talking about civil liberties, I don't think we are a very good messenger," he said. The Republican candidate also said that he would reassess the costs to the U.S. of long-standing defense treaties, potentially forcing allies to take on those costs. He said he would prefer to be able to continue existing agreements, but not if he felt allies were taking advantage of the U.S. Referring to what he said were U.S. trade losses, Mr. Trump said, "We are spending a fortune on military in order to lose $800 billion. That doesn't sound very smart to me." He also suggested he would close U.S. bases abroad. "If we decide we have to defend the United States, we can always deploy from American soil," he said, "and it will be a lot less expensive." Mr. Trump will address the convention on Thursday following speeches from his running mate, Governor Mike Pence, and his wife Melania Trump. Trump's speech caused embarrassment when journalists noticed that